Welcome back to the channel, Rarest Coins, where today we're diving deep into one of the most unexpected stories in the world of coin collecting. We're talking about the 1965 Lincoln penny. At first glance, this might seem like just another old copper coin that's been sitting in drawers, jars, and pockets for decades. But here's the twist. While most 1965 pennies are only worth a cent or two, there are rare versions of this coin that are worth thousands of dollars. And one incredibly rare version has been valued at over $1.5 million. Yes, you heard that right, $1.5 million for a penny. In this video, we're going to walk through the full story behind the 1965 Lincoln and its history, how it was made, what errors to look for, and what makes certain versions of this coin worth a fortune. So whether you're a collector or just curious, this is one video you don't want to miss. Let's begin with some background. The Lincoln penny has been in circulation since 1909, introduced to honor the 100th anniversary of President Abraham Lincoln's birth. The front of the coin features Lincoln's profile, while the reverse originally had wheat stalks and was later changed to the Lincoln Memorial in 1959. Now, 1965 was a strange time for U.S. coinage. The United States Mint was in crisis. There was a national coin shortage, and the price of silver had been rising quickly. People were hoarding silver coins, and as a result, fewer coins were making their way into circulation. To respond, the Mint made a few major changes in 1965. First, they removed all mint marks from coins to discourage collecting. That's right up. If you look at a 1965 penny, you'll notice there is no mint mark under the date. This was done intentionally so people wouldn't hoard coins from certain mints. Second, the Mint started using different metals for coins like the dime and quarter, switching from silver to clad materials. However, the penny remained mostly the same at 95% copper and 5% zinc, weighing about 3.11 grams. So if there were no changes to the penny's composition, what makes the 1965 Lincoln penny so special? Well, it all comes down to errors. Mistakes made during the minting process can result in coins that are completely unique. Some 1965 pennies were struck using leftover dies from earlier years. Others were struck on the wrong planchets, meaning blanks that were intended for other coins, sometimes even foreign ones. These are known as off-metal errors, and they're incredibly rare. One of the most valuable types of 1965 pennies is the one that was struck on a silver dime planchet. That means instead of being made from copper, it was struck on a smaller, lighter, silver-colored blank meant for dime. The coin looks completely different. It's smaller, silver in color, and much lighter than a normal penny. Because of the metal and size, it stands out instantly if you know what to look for. Now here's where the story gets wild. One 1965 penny, believed to have been struck on a gold planchet or possibly on a foreign planchet with a similar appearance, surfaced in a private collection. After expert examination and grading, it was confirmed as a genuine U.S. Mint error, one of a kind. The coin was so rare and so unusual that collectors placed an estimated value of over $1.5 million on it. It's one of the most valuable modern pennies ever discovered. Even outside of that one extraordinary piece, 1965 pennies with off-metal errors, doubled dies, and high grades can still fetch thousands of dollars at auction. A double die error, for example, occurs when the die that stamps the coin design onto the blank strikes it more than once in slightly different positions. This results in noticeable doubling on the letters or numbers, so particularly in areas like the word liberty or the date itself. If you ever see that kind of doubling on a 1965 penny, do not spend it. You should also look for signs that the coin was struck on the wrong planchet. If your 1965 penny is silver in color, weighs less than 3 grams, or looks smaller than usual, it's worth having it checked out. Use a scale to weigh it. A normal 1965 penny should weigh around 3.11 grams. Anything lighter could be a major clue. So, what should you do if you think you found a rare 1965 penny? First and most importantly, don't clean it. Cleaning a coin can reduce or destroy its value. Second, take it to a reputable coin dealer or submit it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. They can verify whether it's authentic and let you know how much it might be worth. There are still thousands of old 1965 pennies in circulation today. Most of them are common, yes, but the rare ones are still out there. It could be in a box in your attic, in a jar of change your grandparents kept, or even in your pocket right now. That's the thrill of coin collecting. You never know when you might stumble upon something incredible. So whether you're a beginner or a lifelong collector, always take a second look at your coins. That little copper penny could be worth far more than you ever imagined. Thanks for watching. If you found this video interesting, don't forget to give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon so you never miss our deep dives into rare and valuable coins. Got a coin question or want to share a discovery of your own? Drop it in the comments below. I read every one. Until next time, keep your eyes open, check your change, and happy collecting. Would you like help coming up with the powerful video title or thumbnail text to go with this script? Welcome back to the channel. Rarest coins. Today, we're shining a light on one of the most talked about coins in American numismatic history, the 1964 Lincoln penny. It's a coin that most people would overlook. After all, it's just a penny, right? But what if I told you that one specific 1964 Lincoln cent has been valued at an eye-watering $1.8 million? That's right, a simple 1-cent coin, struck in Denver in 1964, has become one of the most legendary and valuable pennies ever discovered. And in this video, we're going to uncover why. We'll walk through the coin's historical background, how it was produced, what to look for in valuable varieties, and how one of the rarest examples shocked the coin collecting world with its million-dollar value. Let's start with the history. The Lincoln penny first appeared in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. It was the first U.S. coin to feature a real person, and since then, it's remained in circulation longer than any other coin design. The reverse side originally featured wheat ears, and in 1959, it was updated to show the Lincoln Memorial in honor of Lincoln's 150th birthday. Fast forward to 1964. And the United States Mint was producing massive quantities of coins due to a growing population and increasing demand. That year, more than 3 billion Lincoln cents were struck. Over a billion of those were minted in Denver, identified by the small d under the date on the coin's obverse. So with over a billion coins made at the Denver Mint that year, how can any of them be worth more than a cent? The answer lies in the fascinating world of mint errors, varieties, and collector-grade coins. One of the key things to know about the 1964 Lincoln penny is that while most of them are common, a few incredibly rare examples feature striking mistakes or unusual characteristics that make them worth a fortune. Let's start with condition. Most 1964 pennies are found in circulated condition, which means they've been used, worn down, and are only worth face value. But high-grade example coins that were never used and have no wear can already be worth much more. If your 1964 penny is in mint state condition, especially graded MS65 or higher, it could be worth several $100s on its own. But the real money comes with errors and unique varieties. One major category of valuable 1964 pennies includes double die errors. These occur when the die used to strike the coin was improperly made, causing a doubling effect in the design. You can often see this in the lettering of Liberty, the motto "In God We Trust," or the date itself. Some double die varieties are dramatic and clearly visible to the naked eye, making them highly desirable to collectors. Then there are the transitional errors. Around this time, the U.S. Mint was experimenting with different metal compositions due to rising costs. Although the penny's composition officially remained 95% copper and 5% zinc, a few rare coins were mistakenly struck on planchet intended for foreign coins or other denominations. These are called off-metal strikes, and they're among the rarest errors a collector can find. Now let's talk about the truly extraordinary Kazi, the 1964 Lincoln penny that was struck on a gold planchet. This should have been impossible. Pennies are never supposed to be made of gold, but somehow, during the minting process, A gold blanca possibly intended for a foreign coin or an experimental test piece ended up in the coining press and was struck with the Lincoln cent design. The result was a gold-colored 1964 penny, slightly heavier than normal, with a completely unique metallic composition. This coin was examined, authenticated, and professionally graded by a top-tier grading service. When word got out about this discovery, the coin caused a sensation in the numismatic community. At auction, it was privately valued as $1.8 million. That single coin, originally worth 1 cent, became one of the most valuable Lincoln pennies ever found. So how can you tell if your 1964 penny is valuable? Here's what to look for. First, check the condition. Coins with no signs of wear and sharp, crisp details are always worth checking. Next, inspect the lettering and date. If you notice any doubling, especially in Liberty or the numbers in 1964, that could be a double die error. Also, weigh the coin. A normal 1964 penny should weigh about 3.11 grams. If it's significantly heavier or lighter, that could be a sign of an off-metal strike. If you ever come across a 1964 penny that looks unusual and maybe it's gold-toned, smaller, or doesn't feel quite right, don't ignore it. Take it to a reputable coin dealer or send it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC for authentication. And whatever you do, don't clean it. Cleaning a rare coin can destroy its value. Even outside of the $1 million variety, high-grade 1964 pennies and known error types can still bring in hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Collectors are always looking for the finest examples and rarest minting mistakes, so the next time you're going through your change, searching through old coin rolls, or digging through your family's coin jars, keep your eyes peeled. You might be just one coin away from a life-changing discovery. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of rare pennies and hidden coin treasures, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell so you never miss another upload. Got a coin story or think you found something special? Drop it in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Until next time, stay curious, keep collecting, and always check your change. Would you like help writing the perfect video title or a catchy thumbnail text to go with this script? Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into one of the most fascinating and surprising coins in American history, the 1971 Lincoln penny. Most of us probably overlook pennies these days, tossing them in jars or dropping them in donation trays, but some of these little copper coins are actually worth a fortune. In fact, one version of the 1971 Lincoln penny has sold for over $1.2 million. Yeah, you heard that right, a single penny, 1 cent, over $1 million. So what's the story here? Why is this specific penny so valuable? And how can you tell if you've got one sitting in your pocket or stashed away in your coin collection? Stick around because we're breaking down the history, the features to look for, and exactly why this coin is blowing collectors' minds. Let's start with a quick history. The Lincoln penny has been in circulation since 1909. Introduced to commemorate Abraham Lincoln's 100th birthday, it was the first U.S. coin to feature a real person's portrait, replacing the old Indian head design. It's been around so long it's become one of the most collected coins in the world. But the 1971 penny, minted in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, holds a unique place in coin collecting history. Now, most 1971 pennies are made of 95% copper and 5% zinc. They weigh about 3.11 grams. The Philadelphia version, which has no mint mark, is the most common. Denver pennies have a small d under the date, and San Francisco proof coins have an S. Millions were made, over 1.9 billion in Philadelphia alone, nearly 2.9 billion in Denver, and around 3.2 million proofs from San Francisco. So what makes any of them rare? Here's where things get interesting. There are a few known errors and varieties from 1971 that send collectors into a frenzy. One of the most famous is the 1971 doubled die obverse penny. This means the coin was struck with a die that accidentally impressed the design twice, causing noticeable doubling on the letters and numbers, especially on Liberty, In God We Trust, and the date. Now, these double-die coins are what dreams are made of for collectors. A well-preserved 1971 double-die penny can sell for thousands of dollars depending on its condition. But even more shocking is the extremely rare prototype version that has become the holy grail of 1971 pennies. In 2019, a unique 1971 Lincoln penny struck on an aluminum planchet, a coin blanca, surfaced at auction. This was a test coin, part of an experimental run by the U.S. Mint when they were considering switching to aluminum due to rising copper prices. The idea was scrapped, but somehow a few aluminum pennies escaped the mint. One of these aluminum pennies from 1971 reportedly sold for over $1.2 million in a private sale. Just imagine what looks like an ordinary penny, light in the hand, silver in color rather than copper, and it turns out to be worth more than most people's houses. That's why collectors are always checking their change, hunting through rolls of coins, and scouring estate sales hoping to find one of these elusive pieces of history. Now, how do you know if you've got a valuable 1971 penny? Start by checking the mint mark under the date. If it's from Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco, the next step is to examine the coin closely. Look for a doubling in the text and date. Use a magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe if you have one. If you see obvious doubling, especially in the word liberty or the numbers in the date, you might have a double-die variety. Next, check the weight. A standard copper penny from 1971 should weigh around 3.11 grams. If it feels too light, it could be something different. A genuine aluminum penny weighs just about 1 gram. That's 1/3 the normal weight. If you think you have one, do not clean it, do not alter it in any way, and definitely don't spend it. Take it to a professional coin dealer or send it to a reputable grading service like PCGS or NGC for verification. It's important to remember that while most 1971 pennies aren't worth more than a cent or two, the rare ones can change your life. Even a double die in good condition could fetch hundreds or thousands of dollars at auction. And if, by some miracle, you're holding one of the extremely rare aluminum prototypes as well, let's just say you won't be clipping coupons anymore. So whether you're a serious collector or just someone curious about coins, it's always worth checking your change, because history is still out there in our pockets, hiding in plain sight. And who knows, you might be the next person to discover a $1 million penny. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about valuable coins, rare collectibles, and amazing stories behind the money we use every day, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell for notifications. Got a cool coin story or a question about the 1971 penny? Drop it in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Until next time, keep collecting, keep hunting, and always check your change. Would you like me to help you turn this into a full video with visuals or voiceover suggestions? Welcome back to the channel. Rarest Coins. Today we're going to talk about a coin that might seem completely ordinary at first glance, the 1967 Lincoln penny. Now, you might be thinking it's just another old coin, probably worth a cent or two at most. But here's the truth. While most 1967 pennies are very common, there are some versions of this coin that are worth thousands, even hundreds of thousands. And one version, under very rare circumstances, has been valued at over $1.3 million. Yes, a single penny that could change your life. So how did this happen? How did a coin that everyone has seen before end up being worth over $1 million? In this video, we're going to explore the full story of the 1967 Lincoln penny, its history, unique details, rare varieties, and the incredible story behind one of the rarest and most valuable pennies ever made. Let's start with the basics. The 1967 penny is part of the Lincoln Memorial Series, which began in 1959 to celebrate the 150th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. The front, or obverse, features the familiar portrait of Lincoln, while the back shows the Lincoln Memorial Building in Washington, D.C. This design continued all the way until 2008. Now, here's something important to remember. In 1965, 1966, and 1967, the U.S. Mint was trying to reduce coin collecting because of a nationwide coin shortage. So during those 3 years, they stopped putting mint marks on coins. That means whether your 1967 penny was made in Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco, it won't have a mint mark. This was done intentionally to discourage people from hoarding and collecting coins based on mint location. The 1967 Lincoln penny was struck in large numbers. Over 3 billion were produced. Most of them are made from 95% copper and 5% zinc and weigh about 3.11 grams. So with billions in circulation, why are some of these pennies worth so much? The answer is in rare errors and off-metal strikes. One of the most valuable types of 1967 pennies is the transitional error coin. That means it was struck on the wrong type of metal planchet, like a silver dime blank or even a foreign coin blank. Some are accidentally struck on leftover planchets from other denominations or metals not meant for the Lincoln cent. These off-metal errors are extremely rare, but they are real, and they fetch incredible prices. There have also been known double die errors on 1967 pennies. A double die happens when the coin die itself has a misalignment during its creation, causing parts of the design to appear doubled. If you ever see obvious stumbling in the words like liberty, in God we trust, or in the date itself, you might be looking at a valuable coin. Now here's where it gets even more exciting. The most legendary 1967 Lincoln penny ever discovered was struck on a gold planchet. That's right, somehow, a gold blank was used to strike a penny. This wasn't supposed to happen. It was a complete minting error, possibly the result of a planchet from a foreign gold coin accidentally being used during production. Because it is struck with the same design as an ordinary 1967 penny but made out of a completely different, much more valuable metal, this coin became one of the most sought-after errors in numismatic history. That single coin, the 1967 Lincoln penny struck on a gold planchet, was graded and authenticated by experts. It went up for private sale and was valued at over $1.3 million. This is a one-of-a-kind piece, possibly the only one of its kind to exist, making it not just valuable for the metal, but for its extreme rarity and historical significance. Imagine that something as small and familiar as a penny turn into $1 million treasure. This is why collectors and coin enthusiasts are always carefully checking their change, inspecting old jars of coins, and looking through estate sales and flea markets. You never know what might be hiding in plain sight. So, how do you know if your 1967 penny is worth something more than face value? First, check the condition. A coin in mint state, meaning no wear and sharp details, can already be worth more than a penny. Second, look for errors. Any signs of doubling, off-center strikes, unusual weight, or strange metal color could be indicators of a valuable coin. If your 1967 penny weighs less than 3 grams or feels unusually heavy, that might be your first clue that you've got something special. And of course, if you ever think you have a rare error or off-metal strike, do not try to clean it or alter it. That can destroy the value. Instead, take it to a reputable coin dealer or submit it to a grading company like PCGS or NGC. They can authenticate the coin, assign a proper grade, and help you understand its true value. Even if your 1967 penny isn't worth $1 million, there are plenty of collectors out there willing to pay for high-grade examples or error coins. So don't underestimate the value of what's in your change jar. That's the fascinating story of the 1967 Lincoln penny. From a mass-produced coin without the mint mark to a rare gold-struck error worth over $1 million. This little coin proves that history and value can come from the most unexpected places. It's a reminder that sometimes the most ordinary things turn out to be extraordinary. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this deep dive into coin history and value, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and tape the notification bell so you never miss a new upload. Got a coin story of your own or questions about rare pennies? Drop them in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Until next time, keep your eyes open, check your change, and happy collecting. Would you like help creating a thumbnail or script for a voiceover to go with this? Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into the incredible story behind one of the most mysterious and valuable coins in American history, the 1970 Lincoln penny. Now I know what you're thinking. A penny? From 1970? How could that possibly be worth more than $1 million? Well, the answer lies in a rare error. A minting mistake that slipped past quality control and created a coin that's not just rare, it's nearly one of a kind. And as of today, a unique 1970 Lincoln penny has been valued at over $1.4 million. That's right, a 1-cent coin that's worth more than most luxury cars or even a house. Let's take a step back and start with the history. The Lincoln penny was first issued in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. It was the first American coin to feature a real person and replace the Indian head cent that had been circulating for decades. The original design featured 2 wheat stalks on the reverse, but in 1959, the U.S. Mint introduced the Lincoln Memorial design on the back to mark the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. That design remained in place until 2008. Now, let's zero in on the 1970 penny. The D stands for Denver, which is where the coin was minted. In that year, the Denver Mint struck hundreds of millions of Lincoln cents, specifically over 2.6 billion of them. So naturally, most of those coins are extremely common. In circulated condition, they're worth a cent or maybe a few cents to collectors. But not all 1970 pennies are created equal. A small number of 1970 Lincoln pennies were struck with serious and valuable errors. One of the most notable errors is the double die obverse. That means the die used to strike the coin had a slight misalignment that caused the design elements like the date and lettering it to be imprinted twice, creating a doubling effect that's clearly visible without magnification. If you ever see doubling on the words "In God We Trust," "Liberty," or the date 1970, you could be holding something extremely valuable. Then there's the 1970 small date variety. This version features a date where the number 7 is level with the other numbers instead of dipping down slightly, as it is on the large date version. The small date variety is far less common and collectors pay a premium for it, especially in uncirculated condition. But the true star of the show is the 1970 penny that was mistakenly struck on a silver dime planchet. This means instead of being struck on a copper penny blank, the coin was struck on a blank meant for a silver Roosevelt dime. That's a completely different size, weight, and metal composition. The result was a Lincoln penny with the D Mint mark and 1970 date, but it's silver in color, lighter in weight, and smaller than a normal penny. This was a clear mistake by the mint, but one that created a coin so rare and so unique that it became one of the most valuable pennies ever discovered. This coin was authenticated by one of the top grading services in the world, and when it appeared in a private collector's auction, it was valued at over $1.4 million. That's because it checks all the boxes that make a coin legendary. It's a one-of-a-kind minting error. It was struck at the Denver Mint during a high-production year, and it's been preserved in such a high grade that it looks almost brand new. Combine all that with collector demand and you get a 7-figure price tag for a penny. So how can you tell if you have a valuable 1970 penny? First, look at the mint mark under the date. If it's a D, you know it came from Denver. Next, check the date carefully. Compare the shape of the numbers. If the 7 is level with the other numbers and the top of the 9 is weak, you may have the small date version. Then look for any signs of doubling. You want to check Liberty and In God We Trust for any clear signs that the letters are doubled. If you see it, that's a strong sign of a double die, which could be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on the condition. Finally, if the coin looks silver or gray instead of copper, and if it feels lighter or smaller than a normal penny, it could be an off-metal strike. You can also weigh it. A normal 1970 penny weighs about 3.11 grams. A silver dime planchet weighs only about 2.5 grams. If the weight is off, Don't clean the coin or try to alter it. Take it immediately to a coin grading company or a reputable coin dealer. Even outside of the $1 million rarity, a 1970D penny in uncirculated condition, especially with a small date or doubling error, can be worth a significant amount, sometimes hundreds or even thousands of dollars. And with over 2.6 billion pennies minted that year, there's always the chance that a few of those rare error coins are still out there, hiding in old coin jars, change drawers, or tucked away in someone's forgotten collection. So the next time you go through your pocket change or dig through that old coin box from your grandparents, keep your eyes open for the 1970D Lincoln penny. You never know, you could be holding a simple copper coin that's secretly worth more than $1 million. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about valuable coins, coin collecting tips, and hidden treasures you might already own, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and tap the bell so you never miss a new upload. Got questions about your coins or want to share a cool find? Drop a comment below. I'd love to hear your stories. Until next time, keep hunting, stay curious, and always check your change. Would you like help designing a thumbnail or video title to go with this script? Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're talking about a coin that almost every American has seen or held in their hands at some point, yet very few realize could be worth an absolute fortune. We're talking about the 1991 Lincoln penny. Most people would glance at it and see nothing more than a typical 1-cent coin, but believe it or not, under very specific circumstances, one rare version of the 1991 Lincoln penny has been valued as over $1.6 million. That's right, a single penny from 1991. Just imagine what it would feel like to find one of those sitting in an old coin jar or tucked away in your drawer. In this video, we're going to explore the history of the 1991 penny, break down what makes it special, look at common versus rare versions, and most importantly, uncover what makes one of them worth over $1.5 million. Let's start with some background. The Lincoln cent has been a staple of American currency since 1909. It was the first U.S. coin to feature a real historical figure, and that figure was none other than Abraham Lincoln. The front of the coin has his portrait, while the reverse side in 1991 still featured the Lincoln Memorial, a design that had been used since 1959. Now, by 1991, the U.S. Mint was producing billions of these coins every year. That year, the Lincoln penny was struck in 3 different places: Philadelphia, which had no mint mark; Denver, which used the D mint mark; and San Francisco, which produced proof coins with an S mint mark. Over 5 billion Lincoln cents were made in total that year. That's a lot of pennies, which is why most people assume they're worthless beyond face value. But as any collector knows, the key to value is rarity. And in some very rare cases, coins are struck with errors that make them one of a kind. That's where the magic of the 1991 penny comes in. Let's first talk about the basics. The 1991 penny is made of a copper-plated zinc composition. This had been the standard since 1982. When the mint switched from solid copper due to rising metal costs. Each penny weighs about 2.5 grams, but some rare 1991 pennies were mistakenly struck on older copper planchet from before 1982, which weigh more, about 3.11 grams. These transitional error coins are extremely valuable and highly sought after. So if you're holding a 1991 penny and it feels heavier than usual, or you weigh it and it comes in over 3 grams, that's your first clue you might have something special. But the story doesn't end there. One of the most famous and valuable 1991 pennies ever discovered was a mint error that shocked even the most experienced collectors. It was struck on a foreign gold planchet, something that was absolutely never meant to happen at the U.S. Mint. This coin looked like a typical Lincoln penny, but the surface was gold-toned and the weight was completely off. After extensive analysis and grading, experts confirmed it was an off-metal strike on a gold planchet that somehow made its way into the minting process and was struck with the 1991 Lincoln cent design. This one-of-a-kind coin ended up in a private collection and has been valued at over $1.6 million. It's the kind of discovery that changes everything for a collector or even someone who just happens to find it by chance. It's proof that valuable treasures really are still out there, even hiding in plain sight. Beyond that legendary coin, there are other valuable 1991 pennies you should be aware of. Some feature doubling in the text or numbers, known as a double die. These errors are often visible in the words "In God We Trust," "Liberty," or the date itself. A strong double die error, especially in high grade, can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on rarity and demand. You should also keep an eye out for off-center strikes, where the design is misaligned and part of the coin is blank. Another rare error is the broad strike, where the coin is struck without the retaining color and appears larger and flatter than normal. These types of mint errors aren't as dramatic as the $1 million gold strike, but they can still carry impressive value if the coin is in good condition. So now the big question is, how can you tell if your 1991 penny is worth something? First, weigh it. If it weighs around 3.1 grams, you could have a rare transitional error on a copper planchet. Second, inspect it closely for any doubling, unusual coloration, or shape. Third, if the coin looks gold, silver, or just feels off in any way, take it seriously. Don't clean the coin, don't polish it, and don't try to guess its value on your own. Take it to a certified coin dealer or submit it to a grading service like PCGS or NGC. They'll help confirm if your coin is authentic and give you a professional assessment of its value. Remember, even ordinary-looking coins can be hiding extraordinary value. And even if your 1991 penny isn't the $1 million rarity, there's still value in high-grade versions, unique errors, and rare die varieties. Collectors are always hunting for coins in perfect condition or with unusual characteristics. So the next time you're going through your change, don't ignore the pennies, especially not the ones from 1991, because you never know, you could be holding a 1-cent piece that's secretly worth $1.6 million. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about rare coins, valuable finds, and the hidden treasures that could be sitting in your wallet, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and tap the bell so you never miss a new upload. Got a cool coin story or a question about something you found? Drop it in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Until next time, keep hunting, keep checking your change, and happy collecting. Would you like help crafting a catchy video title or designing a thumbnail for this script? Welcome back to the Rarest Coins. Today we're taking a closer look at one of the most surprising and overlooked coins in American history, the 1976 Lincoln penny. It's a coin nearly everyone has come across at some point, but what most people don't realize is that this humble little cent could be hiding some big secrets. In fact, one particular version of the 1976 Lincoln penny has been valued at over $1.7 million. Yes, that's right, a single 1-cent coin that could buy you a luxury home, a supercar, or even set you up for life. So how is that possible? What makes this coin so valuable? And could you have one sitting unnoticed in your collection, your pocket, or your junk drawer? In this video, we'll go over the full history of the 1976 Lincoln cent, explain the common and rare versions, and reveal exactly what makes that $1 million penny so special. Let's start with the basics. The Lincoln penny has been in circulation since 1909. It was introduced to honor Abraham Lincoln on the 100th anniversary of his birth. Over time, the reverse of the coin changed, and by 1976, the penny featured the Lincoln Memorial design on the back. That reverse design had been introduced in 1959 to mark the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth, and it stayed in use until 2008. Now 1976 was a special year for American coinage because it was the nation's bicentennial of the 200th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence. Special bicentennial designs were issued for the quarter, half-dollar, and dollar coin, all featuring dual dates of 1776 and 1976. But interestingly, the Lincoln penny kept its standard design that year, with the single date of 1976. So while the 1976 penny may look completely normal, Some of them are anything but. That year, the U.S. Mint produced Lincoln cents at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints. The Philadelphia coins have no mint mark, while the Denver coins have a small D under the date. Combined, over 8 billion pennies were minted that year, making it one of the most common years in the Lincoln cent series. But as collectors know, it's not just about how many were made up, it's about what mistakes were made. And 1976 produced some fascinating mint errors in rare varieties that collectors are still hunting for to this day. One of the most valuable error types is the double die. That's when the die that strikes the design onto the blank coin is misaligned slightly and impresses a doubled image. On the 1976 penny, if you see strong doubling on the words "In God We Trust," "Liberty," or the numbers in the date, you may be holding a valuable error coin. Some of these double die examples can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars, especially in uncirculated condition. Another type of error involves off-center strikes, where the coin wasn't properly aligned during minting. This results in a partial or incomplete design, and the more dramatic the error, the more valuable the coin can be. Broad strikes and cleft planchets are also notable 1976 mint errors that have sold for impressive amounts at auction. But the most jaw-dropping story is about the 1976 Lincoln penny that was struck on a foreign gold planchet. This was a complete minting error that occurred when a blank intended for a foreign gold coin somehow ended up in the press used for US 1-cent coins. The resulting penny looked completely different. It had a gold-like appearance, a different weight, and a unique metal composition. When this error was discovered and authenticated by experts, it made waves in the numismatic world. A coin that should never have existed suddenly became one of the most valuable pennies in history. After professional grading and verification, the coin was valued at over $1.7 million. Its rarity, historical significance, and the sheer impossibility of how it came to be struck make it one of the most prized finds among modern American coins. So how can you tell if your 1976 penny is valuable? Start by looking at the mint mark. Both Philadelphia and Denver minted coins that year, but mint errors can appear on either. Use a magnifying glass or coin loop to check for signs of doubling, especially on the lettering and date. Look for any coins that appear off-center, oddly shaped, or strangely colored. And most importantly, weigh the coin. A standard 1976 penny should weigh about 3.11 grams. If your penny is lighter, heavier, or made of an unusual material, you might be onto something special. And if you ever think you found a rare error, don't clean the coin or try to improve its appearance. That can ruin the value. Instead, take it to a reputable coin dealer or submit it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. They'll confirm whether the coin is genuine and assign it a grade, which plays a big role in determining its value. Even outside of the one-of-a-kind million-dollar example, 1976 Lincoln pennies in mint condition can still be worth a surprising amount. Coins graded at the highest levels, such as MS-67 or higher, can fetch hundreds of dollars at auction. Collectors are always looking for the cleanest, sharpest examples of popular coins like the 1976 penny. So the next time you're going through your pocket change or digging through a jar of old coins, don't ignore the pennies, especially not the 1976 ones, because hidden among the billions of ordinary coins could be one that changes everything, a tiny copper coin that turns out to be worth over $1 million. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about rare coins, valuable mint errors, and hidden treasures you might already own, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell so you don't miss the next one. Got a story about a coin you found or a question about the 1976 penny? Drop it in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Until next time, keep searching, keep collecting, and always check your change. Would you like help creating a video title, thumbnail text, or intro animation idea to match this script?